Hey, success. Good evening, folks. Welcome to this week's live stream. I've just got a few technical bits so I can multitask here. Right. Let's put that over there. Do that like that. Haha, here we go. Hope everyone is well. I'll apologise for today's videos because it was dark and dingy here in Northampton and it just didn't get light properly. Good evening, Mick. I've got a statement all for you later. Busy week again, always is. So what's been going on? Well, this week we've had 1,504 people have a look at the channel, which is very nice of you. And I picked up 7 new subscribers. So welcome if this is your first dabble at watching this. This is always a bit of fun. So what are the top 3 this week? So coming in at number 3, Evening Joe, we have the King Crimson artwork with 74 views. Coming in at number 2, we had Charles's birthday top 10 in 93. I'm very well, Rock Beast. I am very well. But number 1 last week was Richard McCook and I's 1990s number 1s, which was totally foreign for us because we're not really into it. But 212 of you thought we did all right. So that's brilliant. So the 28 days, 6,235 views and 28 subscribers. That's about the average now. We're picking about 30 subscribers a month, between 30 and 28, which is good news. So what have you been watching in the last month? Number 3, The Stranglers with 203 views. Coming at number 2, the top 20 number 1s from the 90s with Richard and myself. But still at number 1 is the top 10s from the 80s at 246. So here's the one for the whole time we've been on air. We've now amassed 110,748 views. And we're up to 566 subscribers. So what have you been watching? It's still the same. It's Jethro Tull, Derek Riggs, and Status Quo. I don't think that'll change very much. Last week's Battle of the Debuts, remember it was Blancmange versus Yazoo. And when I counted up the votes, Yazoo won by 1 vote. The closest debut battle we've had. So Yazoo got it by the snick of its teeth. I'm a bit disappointed, but there you go. It's you that decide these, not me. As you can see, we've got one running today, and this is I think this one will be a popular one. Lennon and McCartney after they left the Beatles, whose solo was better. You know the drill, you decide. So, what have I got for you next week? That's Rocky. I've got something in my pocket for him. Good evening, Richard. We're tops at your tops again in the with weekly views. Our 90s has done really well. I couldn't believe that. Anyway, what have I got for you next week? Right, starting on a Monday, we're now up to the part 4 of Rick Wakeman's story, and we've got to the 2000s after the long haul of the 90s, which was long and tedious. Yes, I was. It's done better than the 80s. So that's Rick Wakeman part 4. It's not so long this week. Thank God, he says. Now, the classic album review next week is a little bit different. This was the best-selling album for 2 years on the trot, 1965 and 1966. And it's the soundtrack to The Sound of the Music. I'm going to find out why it was so popular and why did it beat off albums from The Who, The Beatles, The Beach Boys to become the best-selling album in the UK for 2 years running. What's the big thing about this album? So we're going to have a look at it and see if it is the bee's knees or not. Okay, Tuesday being the last Tuesday of next week is the last week of the month. We have got a Ladies' Day. Now, this month's Ladies' Day is totally different from what we've done. We've always concentrated on rock and pop artists. So on Tuesday, we're going to look at some female artists that are not in the mainstream rock, but have sold lots of albums and singles. One sold a lot of more singles than albums. The album ranking next week is a quintet of young ladies that go under the name of Bond. They are one of the biggest selling sort of orchestral classical pop bands in the UK. And the retro ranking next week is a really good singer from Ireland. Again, she's had single success and album success, and it is Enya. So something different. Good evening, Charles. You know your top 10 for your birthday was second in the most views this week at 93. So well done. Wednesday's marathon. Now, this is... Someone's asked for this a little while ago, Simple Minds, but I've held back. Nice one, Charles. I've held back because we're doing Simple Minds and their new album is out tomorrow, but I have had a listen to it because it's on YouTube of all places. So we're going to be doing the full ranking of the Simple Minds albums, including the new one. So I've listened to it twice already, although it's not out. So by the time Wednesday comes around, I might have a good idea of where it really needs to sit in the catalogue. Okay, Thursday of next week, of course, it's Battle of the Debuts again. And we've got a really interesting one for you this time. Barclay James Harvest. After there was a split, they all got a bit peed off with each other. So John Lees went and formed a version, and I think he got Woolley, the original guy, to go with him, and then Les Holroyd went and formed his own version, and he had Mel Pritchard. So we're going to look out of the two after the split, whose version of Barclay James Harvest was the best. So that'll be interesting. Artwork ranking next week is one of my favourite bands. We're looking at the artwork of ELO. I'm going to be doing their studio albums, their live albums, and a selection of their compilations because they did release over 40. So we're not going to do a lot. So I'm going to have a little bit of a few of their other ones. Next Friday, live album ranking. We're going to look at the live albums of one of my favourite bands, Golden Earring from Holland. Fantastic band. So we're looking at that. And then the most anticipated album for me of the year is the new album out tomorrow, and I have heard it. It's pretty good. And that's Arena and the Theory of the Molecular Inheritance. I said it right. Hip, hip, hooray. So looking forward to that. If you want to go and listen to it, it is on YouTube. Let's have a dive into the work in progress in the what's it called? The laundry list. So, okay. The Theory of Molecular Inheritance. Anyway, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. I've finally got into double figures and I've got 11 of the 17 listened to. The Straws, I've got 14 of the 24 done. Gordon Giltrap is still hovering and waiting for one more. No, Rocky's on a chew and he's really having a good go at it. He's been very quiet. Yeah, so we've got Gordon Giltrap. He's got a new album coming out, so we'll do that when that comes out. Susie and the Banshees, another request. We're at 7 and 11. I haven't listened to any Charlie Watts this week. The Moody Blues, I've listened to 12 of the 16. I've had a big week this week on Cats in Space. I've listened to 5 of the 6. I'm really into Cats in Space at the moment. The Cult, another request, 4 of 10. Another request that you've asked for, Bob Catley from Magnum, 3 of 7 I've listened to. The Who was asked for. I've listened to 4, but there's 5 at ticks. So, you know, my number one's gone straight in. REM, 5 of 15. Now, some of my favourite listens of the week. Clear Blue Sky, 3 of 6. They are so cool. Like Starcastle. Good evening, Stephen. Starcastle, 3 of 5. They're another great band. Happy the Man, 3 of 6. No, you can say the Wally of the week because you responded to it. Flying Colours, yes. I've heard of them. Only 3 studio album. Yeah, I've heard of them. I've listened to them, but I haven't got any of their stuff. I tend to listen to them on things like Spotify and that. Anyway, we're all on my list. 3 of 19 of German prog rock band Eloy. And 4 of the 17 of Queensryche. So completed, only 2, well, sort of 3. Simple Minds up until the new album. John Kay and Stephen Wolf. So that's all the Stephen Wolf stuff. And I've got through Helios Creed. I've finished listening to all of his. So that's what's going on in the laundry list. Of course, Dave. Good evening, Ralph. Cats in Space. If you like Mike and the Mechanics, you'll like Cats in Space. They're on Spotify. I think the only album that's not on Spotify is the one with Christmas something. I can't, because I'm not going to say too much about that, but the best albums are on there. So just put Cats in Space in your Spotify or even YouTube and they'll pop up. They're sort of a rock band, AOR band. They're pretty cool. So this announcement, Power Pop, there you go. Charles knows. Well done, sir. Now this announcement, a statement, because there's lots of statements today, isn't there? I mean, Prime Minister, you know, the UK, for those of you who watch this outside the UK, we're now going to have a new Prime Minister because after 45 days, she gave up. She was pushed. Now, in my lifetime, I remember having 2 general elections in one year, but I've not been known to have 3 Prime Ministers in one year. But there you go. So my statement is now, as you know, this week we've done a special on Bond again, because 60 years of James Bond music. Now, Mick has watched it and he said he'd like me to do something else on James Bond. And I am, but this is going to take a little while because I'm going to rank all the soundtrack albums. Now, the trouble is with the soundtrack albums, so I can give my honest opinion of him, I'm going to have to sit and watch all the Bond films again. Oh, what a shame. So it'll be sometime in 2023 where I'm going to rank the full original soundtracks of all the Bond films. But I need to watch some of the films. I don't have to watch them all, but there's some that I haven't watched as much as the others. I mean, the latest one I think I've only watched twice. That was once at the cinema and once when I got the DVD. So I'm going to have to sit and watch something so I can watch the film. So when I listen to the soundtracks, I know what's going on in each track, basically. Because I think the later Bond films are harder to do. I know, it's just terrible, isn't it? The things I do for this channel. I have to sit and watch James Bond. I don't mind though. Yeah, it'll be sometime in 2023, Mick. We'll take a little time. Right, tonight's tipple is called Oof. And it's a stout with red cherry. Yeah. I don't think I'll be ordering that one again. No, you've had everything now. Yeah, you'll have to watch them again, Mick. If I'm doing it, you're doing it as well. So you can get into it and know what I'm talking about. See, Mick likes to get involved. As you see, we've not got albums behind us this week. I thought I'd put some of my 12-inch singles up there. Which is... And we've got, I don't know, any of you eagle-eyeds want to have a guess at some of them? Some of them are easy, some of them are not. Yes, as Dave has just put, I'm not going to do the Casino Royal David Niven, although it's all right, and I'm not doing Never Say Never again. Because that's quite a cheesy soundtrack, and it's just a remake of it, of course. Rocky wants to say hello. I think he may do. Do you want to say hello to everyone? No, he's as you can see, he's hovering again. He knows it's Thursday. He just knows Thursdays now. What? Come here. Come here then. Come here then. You're stubborn as well, aren't you? He wouldn't go out today. No, it isn't. You're going to have to listen to it on Amazon. Not Amazon, YouTube. It's on YouTube. And I think Diamonds Are Forever. For some reason, I don't know about being in America, but in the UK, half of that album Spotify you can't listen to because they've blacked it out. God knows why. Yeah, I've got it on 7-inch somewhere, and I've got it in the little box set. If you remember the box set. I wonder if I can find that. One moment, folks. Yes, I can. I've still got it. It's a bit battered now, but got all the singles, the first 10 years, and it's got the Nico McBrain. Not a lot of people know that. That's worth listening to. One day I might actually do a review of this. Who knows? Okay, you got one. You got five more to guess. I'm surprised Richard hasn't named at least 2 or 3. But my big head's in the way. So that's that side. That's that side. Yes, the two more Goldfield supporters, people that are going to be doing a video with me, haven't guessed one yet, have they? I haven't got to stream any of them. That's how sad I am. I have got them. I'm very sad. I don't think there's not much I've got off Bond. I don't have so many books these days, but I mean, I've read them. So I used to go to the library when I was younger, and I used to get the Bond books out. When I used to live, we used to have a mobile library, and I used to get the Bond ones. Oh, well done, sir. I knew you'd get that one. Yes, I like that song that Tony and Airfish did. Pretty cool. Gary Moore, Friday on My Mind. Yes, very good version of that. It's these two, this side of these here, there. But it's on the front. Well, that you probably can't see, but it is an Ultravox 12-inch. I think it's 1983, 84, something like that. Vienna. No, it's not Vienna. It's later than that. It's on the Monument live album. No. Give us this day. That one. That's the one it is. Anyway, Richard, I have him. Yeah. Anyway, Richard, I have nearly done my 2000s. Believe it or not, I've found 7. I found 7 songs on the 2000s I like. And my 50s is done as well, Richard. So I'll be emailing you in the next week. 50s was easy peasy lemon squeezy. Fancy doing the 2000s before the 50s? I'll see what if I can. Over the weekend, I'll source the 3 and some bubbling unders. I'll probably have the least bubbling unders ever. But yeah, we'll do the 2000s. You're ready to go with both? Okay, well we'll do the 2000s because I think people like it that me and you are out of our comfort zone. Oh, well done, Ralph. Of course they are, Charles. Of course they are. I don't know about Richard's, but on mine, I don't like them. You want to see who was on it? I'll pull it down and I'll tell you who played on it. Right. Now, this will be just what the bands were in whatever year it came out. This is brilliant because it tells you who does all the singing on the back. It's all right. I'll put the single somewhere. Wow. So who's on here? Right. Tommy Aldridge and Dave Alford were both rough cut at the time. Carmen a piece from King Cobra. Vinny a piece. Dio. Jimmy Bain. Frankie Benali from Quiet Riot, Mr. Bloom from Blue Oyster Cult, Mick Brown from Dokken, Vivian Campbell, who was in Dio at the time, Carlos Cazivo, Quiet Riot, Amir Dekaran, Rough Cut, Ronnie James Dio himself, Mr. Don Dokken, Kevin DeBrow, Quiet Riot, blimey, Brad Gillis from Night Ranger, good grief, Craig Goldie from Graphia, Chris Hager from Rough Cut, Rob Halford, the Metal God, Chris Holmes from Wasp, Blackie Lawless, George Lynch from Dokken, Eugene Vane, Malmsteen, Mick Mars, Dave McKenty, Yuck and Trash, Wine Tea, Dave Murray from Maiden, of course, Vince Neil from The Crew, Ted Nugent, Eddie Ajaya from Twisted Sister, Jess Pilson was with Dokken at the time, Buck Dharma from The Cult, David St. Hubbins, Spinal Tap, Rudy Sarzo and Claude Schnell from Dio, Neil Sean from Journey, Paul Shortin, Rough Cut, Derek Smalls from Spinal Tap, Adrian Smith from Maiden, Mark Steffett Stain from Vanilla Fudge, Jeff Tate was Queen's Right Still, and Matt Thor, Rough Cut. So that's who's on that. It's pretty good. Let's put it back. And they went to Stars by Hearing Aid. But what's this one? What's this one here? So there, that was on that. Now, I don't know how much that must be worth because there can't be many of them around. I mean, I got that when it come out because I was sad. I think I'd got it just because it was Ronnie James Dio. Yeah, so we're going to do, so it looks like Richard and I are going to do the 2000s first. There's not much rock in it, I tell you that. But I'm having more success on the one I'm going to do with Joe on Rush. That's nearly done. My Mark Hole feels sort of taking shape. And I'm just glad that my album that I lost has turned up from eBay this week. So I feel a lot happier that I've got my sort of the collection that I did have on album, because I haven't got them all on album. I think my last album I brought was probably the Killing Fields soundtrack. Because then I went off him a bit. All that poppy stuff he did, and then I'm really into it. Oh, well done, Richard. It is. It's Shine. Bizarre song that was. But enjoyable. Yeah, we haven't got such a Wally of the Week this week. There was someone that sort of... I don't know if they were having a go at me, but they were just telling me why am I ranking stuff that I'm not keen on. High Places was absolutely awful. And not a highlight of the Crisis album in High Places. But then again, they did leave off the B-side of Moonlight Shadow, Right of Man. I must do one of them non-album Mike Oldfield retro rankings sometime. I've got quite a lot of stuff that's not on albums by Mr. Oldfield. Some of it's good and some of it's ugh. Yeah, that's what I thought, Dave. I will crack on with that. That's true. Yeah, it's not as bad as another one, and I can't remember what B-side it was. It was either the William Tell Overture, I think it's Portsmouth. The B-side to Portsmouth is called Speak. Good grief. I have got some rare old rubbish by Mike Oldfield, which I will include. It's the worst track on Crises, but it's not the worst track Mike Oldfield ever did. Speak is. Yes, McCartney takes the lead. If you have watched it today, I just don't understand why people or the critics thought that Lennon's first album was a masterpiece. It's got 3 finished songs on it, and the rest are just demos. I mean, I prefer the McCartney album out of the 2 because, I mean, as I said, Paul McCartney recorded that in a basement on basic kit in secrecy, and the production on it is fantastic. John Lennon goes in the studio with Phil Spector producing, and they come up with that. What was going on? Do you think he was? I don't know if he was just a little bit too, how do I put it, arrogant. I'm John Lennon. I'll sell anything. Yep. It's you didn't even got in the top 10, but Paul McCartney had a number 1 in America, number 2 in the States. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Well done, Richard. It's blatantly that my favourite is McCartney. I think you're right, Dave. I think you're right. I'm going to rank John Lennon's solo albums, so I'm not going to say too much, but there are ones on that album. My favourite bit is on the credits. Yoko Ono, Wind. Did she have wind? Because I mean, I know Linda did play on that, done some harmonies on Paul's album. Yeah, it's one of my favourite albums, Mind Games. But I think, I mean, I know what I mean. I did the double fantasy, and as I said on when I did that they should have took the tracks from Milk and Honey and the best ones from Starting Over and made the album. If you want to go and listen to my version of Double Fantasy, if you go into the playlist, you'll find it. I actually made it up on my playlist for my Spotify, and I've played it a few times now, and I love it. It's far better than what Yono put out, because she can't do much at all. Yeah, I mean, I know going back to Linda McCartney, I know she's not the best singer, but she was a good backing vocalist. I mean, her claim to fame's on Girls' School, isn't it? 3 cheers for the girls. Hip hip. Talking of Girls' School, I know we've ranked the studio albums. I am going to do the live albums because I had a couple on this week and they are brilliant. Yeah, so who did suggest John Mitchell? I don't mind though, because the bands that he has played with are all good. So John Mitchell is coming up after Gong. Yes. These people that put these bands up. I must admit, I am enjoying listening to the John Mitchell stuff. Yeah, you're right, Richard. She did make some great contributions to Wings and some of his solo stuff. So, hello. What's that? I've got something beeping here. What the hell was that? Oh well. Well, it's not that. That's my iPod that's got my button. Alarm reminder. Now I'm charging up my Fitbit, or the unfitbit, that's what I call it. No, something needs charging. Yeah, you're right, Dave. I mean, if you watch that Get Back, whatever it's called, that thing, you got Yoko Ono sitting doing her knitting and paying no attention. I mean, at least Paul had the decency to leave Linda at home. Yes, unfortunately, I think Yoko had too much influence on John Lennon, especially when it comes to music. But there you go. So, some of the retro rankings are taking shape, coming up. Got some really good ones coming up in November. Got a special one for Remembrance Week. Got an AC/DC one coming up. So, and I am going to concentrate next year more some of the retro rankings. We're going to look at some more unusual artists and go a little way off the pop scene and go and look at other people's sort of music. Going to look at some jazz fusion as well, just to mix it up a bit. See what happens there. But we're all set for the new shows that start on December the 1st. Already, I found a little program online to do random year selections. So, because it works, when it comes to choosing the year previous for the next shows, I'm going to do it live on the thing. You won't be able to see it, but I shall set it up and let it roll, and then I shall tell you the year. Although we did sort of cheat on the first one, I put it in and it was a year, and I looked at what was in the top 10, and there was nothing there that I really particularly liked. And it was one of the 80s years, late 80s, and there was just nothing there that got really needed a mention. Because if I say that things like Milli Vanilli or something was in there, and all the boy bands, and I'm not having that. I mean, when we do them, if certain people that can't be spoken about, that can't be spoken about because of things that has happened, but when the music come out, we didn't know these things, they still will get a mention because they are part of music history, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing the American ones, though. When we do the American top 10s. Plenty of producers and DVDs to look at. I actually added one this week. I've added a Kansas one. A live album You can see what's coming in a few weeks' time. And I thought, because I haven't got this album, which is pretty bad of me. And I thought, oh, there's the concert. I'll sit and watch the concert. So I sat there the other night with the surround sound on and all the gubbins, and I watched this concert, and it was fantastic. And so it was nice seeing Robbie up there playing the violin, and yep. So we got that. I've added that. I think it's called drum voice, and something else. Pretty good. I haven't decided what the first. I have done the first one, which is the UK top 10 for December the 1st. And I know what the next one is, but I haven't quite decided. I've got to choose a year, and I haven't quite decided on the producer. I think I've got a rough idea. I mean, with the producers, what I'm going to do with the producer ranking. Hey, who's lips? Getting distracted here. So what I will do, I will go through, when we pick a producer, I'm not going to rank them all. I'm going to just talk about some of the albums that he's done, and then do my top 3 albums of that producer. Well, in my opinion, these are all in my opinion, of course. It's not gospel truth. So some people keep thinking that it is. I just wonder sometimes if some of the critics watch, because I sometimes slam them coming up with stuff. Now, who are they? I've never heard of them. Yes, you do know. My least favourite producer ever. and the Rolling Stone magazine's another of my pet hates. I'm lost. I'm very lost. Derek Doom. Oh, yeah. I think I remember now. Oh, you're over there. What are you doing? He's made a right mess over there. He's moved everything about. You're worse than a little kid, aren't you, at times? He's moved one of his beds. He's trashed the place. The original Celtic rock band. I've got a book here. Let's have a look. It mentions Horsley. Oh, this is all years, isn't it? Let's have a look. I've used this week, my new book. It's pretty good. Let's have a look at the... Oh, that one's good. I've just gone into the Mike Oldfield one. He's got nearly a page and a half of Mike Oldfield facts. Well, they haven't got that band in there. Yeah, Rocky thinks is... Oh, right, there we go. Yes, he's done a Keith Moon on me, Mick, and he's wrecked the place. He does that quite often. He's got this is the only dog that must have 3 beds in the flat. The main one in the lounge, he's got a couple of toys in there that were Marley's, and he sort of his comfort toys. He doesn't play with them. He just likes snuggling up to them because they've still got the smell of Marley on it. And although Marley's passed away over a year ago, he sort of misses. And if he doesn't want them in the way, he gets his nose and just pushes them out onto the floor. It's terrible. No, and he knows I'm talking about him. Yes, I'm talking about you and your vandalism. It wouldn't be Rocky without that. Oh, 10 albums. God. Looking forward to that. Flying Colours, that's a good one to listen to. I've listened to them, but I've not really studied them like what I do when I do my rankings. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think when I do eventually do rank though, I think I may cause some controversial points, like I always do. Yeah, when did they start then? 4 slips. I've learned something tonight. If it's anything like Boston, I mean, they've been going ages and they've only managed 6 albums. Yes, it is. It is, Stephen. I'm reviewing that tomorrow. It's been my album of the week, apart from Cats in Space. I have played that Alter Bridge album so much, and I'm loving it. It's certainly better than the last one. Early 70s. Well, you think some of bands that have been around since the 70s, and they're in 15, 20 albums. So that's not many, is it? Yeah. Gonna have a bit of an Alter Bridge thing in the next few weeks as well, in celebration of the new album. Wow. So they were around for 10 years. Yes, I have, Stephen. I have heard it. And I like that as well. And all I'm going to say is I think Damien Wilson is the perfect pick for that band. It's a really good album. I'll be reviewing that next week. Yeah, I've heard the new Simple Minds as well, but oh dear. Are you going to listen to the new Simple Minds, Richard? Don't get your hopes up too much, Richard, if you haven't. I must admit, when I was doing the ranking, when I was listening to the later ones, yeah, it's as I was saying, I've been listening to some of the later Simple Minds albums, and what has gone wrong with that band? I personally, I think they should hang the boots up. They're trying to. How can I put with Simple Minds? I think they're trying to still think they're relevant to the new youngsters, and all they've done is forgotten about the people that got them where they are, and we don't matter anymore. Yeah, you're not going to beat. overly impressed with the new one, Richard, I can tell you. Just stick to what we know, shall we? Yeah, I think you're right, Ralph. Although I love Dream Theatre. That's the one I like, innit? Okay. I think the album after the Street Fighting years was a bit better than Street Fighting years, but then it sort of went. But I think they started going down the spiral. I think when they peaked with a certain album, which I'm not going to say because it'll just spoil next week. I think it's sort of that's when it hit the buffers. I mean, they had that. I mean, I think with Simple Minds. I mean, altered images. Yay! I can live with a bit of altered images. Bit of Claire. And she was in Red Dwarf, so there you go. Although I don't like Happy Birthday. I hate that. That is awful. It's the worst. It's one of their worst songs. Spock's Beard and Neil Morse, they're on they're on my list. They're not on the official. Yeah, I like Gregory's Girl. Didn't like Gregory's Girl 2 though. Yeah, I will be doing Spock's Beard and Neil Morse, Stephen. It's just gradually getting through them. I mean, I'm glad I'm not doing the story of Mike Portnoy. I'd be there for years. He's been in so much stuff. I think with some of these people, you just pick out now and again and throw them in. But Neil Morse is a great guitar player. It's a keyboard player, sorry. I was thinking of Steve Morse, wasn't I? I like Big Country. I upset a lot of people when I did my ranking. But there you go. Now, sometimes people don't listen to what I say. And when I say I like all the albums, but I prefer listening to some more than others, and they don't hear that bit. I mean, I love all the Big Country albums, all the way across the catalogue. But I've got my favourites. Everyone has their favourites. Yes. I can see you. Yes, I can see you. Ruff. Lay down. You're not having anything else. You've had everything tonight. Yeah, that should be all right, Richard. Gives me enough time to come up with something. Yeah, we'll do it. I'll send you the links in the week, Richard. So if you want to see Richard and I trying to decipher the year, the 2000s, that'll be next Saturday. Thanks for popping in, Richard. I'll speak to you and contact with you in the week. Yeah, if you want to laugh. That should be fun. I like doing them. We love doing them shows. Everyone seems to like them as well, which is good. Because they are fun. They are really fun. The 90s one, although we was out of our sort of comfort zone, we had such fun doing it because we didn't really know what we were talking about, which was the fun of it, really. The 2000s are even going to be worse. Because as far as I'm just... I don't want to end the poll. Good old McCartney. So how's it doing on the... oh dear, what have I done now? Yeah, how's it doing on the community? And Dave will be able to give us a complete story of how it's actually doing. I think this one's going to be a big one. A bit like last week's was very, very good. Be interested to see what happens with when we do the Barclay James Harvest split. Because the first, you've got Woody going with John Lees and Mel Pritchard went with Les Holroyd. So you've got the engine room of Pritchard and Holroyd, and then you've got the great guitar work of John Lees and the wizardry of the keyboards of Wooly. Oh, Paul's winning, and I hope he does. I should be impartial here, but I can't be. Oh. Well, I hope the weather's better tomorrow. Got a bit of, as I said, we got a bit of prog tomorrow, a bit of Alter Bridge, and we're looking at Roger Taylor's live album. Talking of Roger Taylor, has anyone else heard that Queen song yet? Well, I went and just put my foot in it on Facebook. I saw it. I thought, let's have a look at all through these remarks people are putting. And you go, oh, this is fantastic, great stuff. Then someone put the reason why it was left off the Miracle because it's rubbish. What do you think of it, Stephen? Because I think it's terrible. Favourite opening tracks on albums? Yeah, I like that idea, Ralph. You're going back to Queen. It's people saying it sounds like a Bond theme, and I can't understand why they're doing a remaster of The Miracle. Really? They could have picked a better album. In all honesty, that light's shining on Gary Moore. Let's turn it that way a bit. That's it. Too much light on Gary. Now, I was thinking if they were going to remaster any of the Queen albums, the one I'd really want them to remaster would either be The Game or Jazz. Probably more Jazz, because I think the drums on that don't sound right in places. But but it's not bad. It's dreadful, absolutely dreadful. Yeah, I love jazz, but I think that needs a remaster. Get them drums a little bit more drummy instead of flat. Yeah, someone put in that comments, oh, they've done it for the fans. So I had to say something. I put, yeah, but the real fans will not even bother with this. And so I said, well, we're all fans. I said, yeah, there's two. And then I put, there are two sets of Queen fans. They're the hit single fans, and then there's the diehards that, like me, that prefer stuff off the albums. I didn't understand that at all. Because they're right. I mean, I think Queen are one of them bands where you get they play the hits. They got the people that love just the hits, but you play them Queen 1 or Queen 2 and they're totally lost. I do remember when I saw Queen at Nebworth Park, when they did Lap of the Gods Revisited. I remember someone next to me said, is this a new Queen song? And I think I looked around and I went, no, this is a classic from 74. Oh, I've never heard it. So I sort of shouted in their ear rolls, well, go and listen to Sheer Heart Attack then. But they were the people that went mad at Radio Gaga. You know. You're not missing much, Ralph. Go and listen to it out of curiosity, but you're not missing anything. I can tell you now. And The Miracle is a poor, poor album. I think I ranked it near enough at the bottom, near Hot Space. Although I did like I Want It All off that, and I like Breakthrough because it's a bit of a get up and a go. And was it all worth it? The worst track on there has got to be Rain Must Fall, followed by The Invisible Man. That is just sheer pants. It should have ended up, you know, it's terrible. There's better tracks on Hot Space, and that's saying something. Yeah, I know that, you know, I think Queen are one of them bands that, as I said, split into two camps. There's occasional fans. It's like in any band, though. You know, and when you do these rankings, they go, "Why haven't you done that?" You sort of look at it and go, "Well, obviously you're not a big fan." I know he loves Hot Space. I know he does, bless him. I just can't get on with that album. There's not many albums I can't get on with. Even the live at the Milton Keynes Bowl, the live tracks, them tracks live even sound worse. It just didn't work, did it? But a lot of people don't like that album. See, everybody, you know, people were shocked when I didn't have Night of the Opera as my favourite Queen album. It's good, but I think my favourite was Sheer Heart Attack. I just love that album. We'll find out a little bit about the Roger Taylor album tomorrow, the live album. On the whole, I won't go into too much there, but I think it's good. But there are some suspects on there, which you'll find out tomorrow. My live albums tomorrow is John Wetton. As you know, he's one of my favourite singers, songwriters, bass player, vocalist extraordinaire. I'm not doing all his albums. I totally agree with you, Ralph. So we've got some John Wetton for you tomorrow. Super Friday, three shows in one day. And then the following week, I'm doing a show on a Sunday. And that's because someone's birthday. I wonder whose birthday top 10 falls on a Sunday. The name's eluded me at the moment, but yeah. Sunday the 30th, you've got a bonus show. Someone's got a birthday. Or maybe, I don't know. Yeah, The Queen and Paul Rogers is a good DVD. Yeah. There were people that were saying that Paul Rogers, when he sang with Queen, was rubbish. I thought he was great. I'm a Paul Rogers fan, so I'm not going to turn around and say that. And then there were people saying that Brian May and Roger Taylor are money-grabbing bastards. I don't know. And then they've said about John Deacon. He was sensible. He packed it all in, didn't he? I think Roger and Brian are saying, yeah, whatever. You know, they said whatever. So I think it's more the record company trying to make a quick buck out of a load of rubbish. I just hope it doesn't go to #1 for Christmas, because that'll ruin my Christmas. There's some highlights on the Live Aid that I like. There's some pretty rubbish on it as well. Queen were the best band on the day, though. I mean, it's allegedly that someone actually cranked the stuff up for Queen. I don't know how true that is. I've got someone snoring somewhere, and I'm not quite sure where he's snoring. He's right. He's in his. I put one of his little beds under the computer desk. He's got a little bed. He's in there snoring his little head off at the moment, which is good. But is it good for me later? Because he'll want to bark his head off. He had this last night. He just wouldn't settle. At midnight, he was still plodding up and down. So what was up with him last night? Anyway, I'm going to leave you in a minute. He may be because he's getting used to it now. Once Rocky gets used to something, he's fine with it. You know what he's like. I know it's taken him a few months, but I think he's got into the thing now that I fuss him beforehand, and when we finish, he'll come on. We'll go in the lounge. I'll put the telly on, and he'll come and sit with me. He'll come up his steps, come and plonk next to me, and put his head on my thigh, and he'll want some fuss. Yeah, he was quiet. There's nothing wrong with him. He's not well or anything. He does demand, but I think he's just getting used to it. It takes him used to getting to routines. He doesn't like change of routine. He's on Saturdays when I do my housework. He can't settle because I'm all over the place, and he likes to follow me, and he just doesn't like it. You move furniture around, he doesn't like it. I mean, before I moved, which I can't believe it's been a year, before he went off he went to my ex-partner's for a few days when the actual move took on. But while I was getting ready, there was boxes everywhere, and he just didn't like it. He just can't cope with change. He's quite fussy like that. But once he gets used to something and it's the norm, he's think, yeah, he is a bit. But apparently that's dachshunds. They are they like their routines. You know, he knows when he wants his dinner. He knows when he wants his carrot and everything. So yeah, once I finish here, I'll pack up and he'll just follow me into the lounge. Anyway, talk about packing up. I've got a very busy day tomorrow. I've got the 3 shows to do, and I've got the surveyor coming round. He said he was going to come and survey my roof, and I laughed. I said, because I live in a low. They're not flats here. They're sort of masonettes, and I'm on a low ground floor masonette because all the flats have their own separate door out into the street, going by a little courtyard sort of thing. So he's coming, the housing association whose property is, they've got someone coming round to do a structural thing tomorrow. And I've asked him to come after 11 o'clock. So it gives me time to record everything. So I'm going to have a busy day tomorrow. I'm going to get up a bit earlier to do a little bit of prep. Hopefully the light will be better tomorrow. Not like yesterday. God, talk about do it in the dark. The weather I actually blame Dave because he had this weather yesterday and he sent it straight back over here. Anyway, once again, thank you very much for watching. And if you're still watching, then thank you. And if you're watching this tomorrow, thank you. And I'll be back in the morning. As I said, we've got John Wetton live, a review of the new Alterbridge album, Pawns and Kings, and also the live album Outside the Live by Roger Taylor. Have a good week, everyone. I will see you all next week here at 8 p.m. And next week is the last one of the British summertime because we put the clocks back on Ralph's birthday weekend. So it'll be an hour later for those of you that watch outside of the UK. But I will remind you. So have a good week, everyone. Nice. Dave, have you took note of the polls here so we get it right? I'm going to end the poll now. And it looks like that Paul McCartney won. Hey, so looks like we're on course for a win for Paul McCartney. Okay, thank you very much, guys. I will see you all next week, same time, but I'll see you on the channel, of course. Bye for now.